Good morning to be. Let me just move my face a little bit. I can't believe that we are in our last official week of distance learning, but here we are. And we have a few good things happening this week we want to talk about. Making sure that we are studying for finals, final test, and having all those odds and ends in. So let's take a look at our day today. Today is Tuesday, May 26, 2020. Thinking about the beach. We didn't get there this weekend, so really thinking about it. If you got down to a lake or a nice hike or anything like that, you're very lucky. We're hoping to do all that soon when school ends. So let's look at our schedule for today. First thing is study for final test. Your parents were giving the list of spelling words. It's 28 words that you're studying. It's from lessons 27. I have challenge words on here. Just ignore the red words. And lesson 30, which is the lesson we were working on this week. So be studying all of those words from the last lesson we did last week, and then all of the words from this week. And then your parents will choose 20 words of their choice. I would say try to take 10 from each lesson. Any random words that they want, and then they will give them to you, and they will send that to me on Friday. And that's your first final test. The other ones will be your reading, writing, math, and religion. So that will all come next week. But we did give you a religion study guide to be going over all the parts of the math that we've been doing since the beginning of the year, which I really do think you're okay in, especially based on your last test. Okay, so be working on that. That's important this week. The next thing I want to talk to you today about was I Know It and First in Math. Okay, so when I log in, I can pull up a progress report kind of, and it will show me who's been logging in, how long they've been playing, what lessons they've been playing, and so on and so forth. So if you just logged in on the first day we gave it to you and you never logged in again, you want to try to do that this week. Same with First in Math. Edmund, you're still our number one player of the day. You are up to 5,630 points, which is awesome. Give yourself a little round of applause for that. And Jojo always right behind him, 3,939. Vincent with 3,888. Kaylin at 2,108. And then Anara with 1,946. They are our top 5 players. Good job, guys. Everybody gets a big round of applause for that. But if you've been playing, pat yourself in the back, give yourself a round of applause for that too. But again, we can look at that. So now if you decided, hey, iknowit.com was way better for me. I like the games better. It was more fun. That's okay if you're on that more than you were on First in Math, but let's just make sure I see you on one of them. I think everyone's done that. There's 1 or 2 names I haven't really witnessed any action from the beginning of distance learning. So make sure you do that this week. Log on and play for a few minutes, even if it's just one day. I know we don't all have extra computers. Some of us have like 5 brothers and sisters we're kind of fighting over the computers with. So just do your best, even if you borrow mom or dad's phone for a minute to log in, if they allow that. Okay, so let's be working on that. And now for our lessons this week. Okay, let's go to our webpage. Here we are. I'm actually going to be doing a math lesson with you right now. And then I will just touch on the other 3 things you have here today, but they are all pretty much review. So I think you'll be okay on that. But math is new this week, and we are starting measurement. Now, what you'll see here, I should have made that bold. We're going back to volume 1. Now, when all of this started, I had you bring both. Where does it say the volume? Oh, there it is. It's at the top. I had you bring both of your blue math books home. It was a lot to carry, but I knew that we would switch back, as we do almost every year, to the first edition because we save it. Sometimes we save measurement, sometimes we save geometry, which is when we did the shapes and stuff. So this year it's measurement. You need to go back to this book. So if for any reason you can't find it, parents, let me know. It's only 4 days of lessons, so I can get them to you if I need to. If I need to copy Keegan's book and scan, just let me know as soon as possible. So we'll figure that out. Well, that's what we're going to do today. Now, I can tell you right away that you will need your ruler. But I packed the classroom, and a lot of your rulers were still in your desk. So in volume 1, at the very back of the book, the absolute last printed page is an inch ruler. There's a centimeter ruler too. Okay, so you can rip this page out and cut these 2 rulers out if you'd like. You don't need the paper clips, I don't think. I can't remember it far ahead, and you don't need the protractor. So you just need the 2 rulers, and that's on the last page of your book. So if you need them, go ahead and do that just to get through the few days' lessons. Okay, today's lesson starts on page 239, and the picture looks like this. It's not what we're seeing outside right now. People might have their face covered, but for a different reason. In this picture, their faces are covered for the snow. And it's the beginning of chapter 6, and it says, people who study weather are called meteorologists, and they tell us about rain, snow, wind, and how hot or cold it is. And a meteorologist uses different units like degrees, miles per hour, and centimeters to measure each type of data. So if they're measuring snow or rain, they might do that in centimeters or inches, okay? And so that's why they're showing us what a meteorologist will do. Oops, just slapped my face with the book. Okay, I am going to go to the next page, but I actually have it here. Okay, 240. This is the welcome letter, family letter page. I just want to go over this with you like I would in class. Families, you can read this together, but really I just want to focus on the words here, the math words for the chapter. Okay, so an inch, a foot, a yard, a centimeter. I knew that was one of them. Just didn't know where it was. And you'll see that they're all abbreviated in the parentheses here. So you might see FT, that's going to mean foot, YD is yard, IN inch, and CM is centimeter. You're also going to see meter down here, and that's with an M. They are all what we use in the customary units of measurement. And what does that mean? Well, it's what we use here in the United States, but unfortunately, not many other places use it. So this is how we learn in the United States, and you need to know it in order to get by in the United States. When I go to IKEA to look at a new dresser for my bedroom, in the United States, IKEA, it's going to be in inches, centimeters, maybe yards. So we need to know how to do that. You need to know how to calculate that. You need to know how to be able to measure things when you want to. It's one of those things, again, when am I ever going to use this? Well, you're going to use this a lot. If you want to design a home in many different careers, you'll have to use this. And it's important. Even for driving, we need to know how many miles something is, how many yards are in that, and measurement's very important. But the other system that many, if not all, I could be wrong on that, countries use, is the metric system. So you will hear a little bit about metric units, which is helpful. And I'm glad they put that into the United States curriculum. I can tell you, and I'm sure some of your parents can, and some parents who are not from this country can definitely tell you, that it really confuses people because we don't use the same as everyone else. So it's important to know both. And that's what we're going to learn. We're going to stick to the customary units, which is for the United States. But like I said, they did add some metric units in there. So that will help a little, especially with the meter. The meter is a big one. Okay. The kids normally like this chapter. You kids will normally like this chapter. I will say, I think it's probably more fun in the classroom because we take out our rulers and we have competitions to see how many people can find something that's 5 inches, how many can find something that's a foot. And we won't get to do that, but you can definitely do that around your house, especially if you have your ruler or measuring tape at home. That's another tool we use in measurement. We're looking for the length, how long something is from one end to the next. And that's what we're going to be working on. So I do not have the next 2 pages, 241 and 242. But I can pull up the last 2 pages you're going to do today. I know that's a little confusing, but I just want to be able to look at this with you. The biggest thing for today's lesson that we need to really focus on and go back to is, what does it mean to estimate? Does anyone remember what it means to estimate? Give you a second to think. Okay. If you couldn't remember, where could you have looked to remember what estimate means? If you said the back of your book in your glossary, you were correct. So estimate, an approximate answer, to find an answer that is close to the exact answer. Well, that's not super helpful. If you remember, an estimate is a guess, but it's a really good guess based on stuff that we already know. So, for example, on this page, I can see here, I'm going to show you on my screen, that this is an inch. From this line to this line is 1 inch. Okay, maybe I hold my fingers up to it. Maybe I look to see how long of one of parts of my finger is, like from my now to that first little break in my finger, the line. That's about 1 inch. So now that I know that, they want me to estimate how long I think this piece of ribbon is. So I want to look and see, well, how many of this do I think I can fit into here? So maybe I take my finger and I hold it on to the inch, and then I go along the ribbon and I estimate 4. So down in my estimation, I'm going to write, now here gives you the answers here. I'm going to write 4 in my estimate, and then I'm actually going to measure to find out, oh, hey, it was about 4. So I was right. My estimate was right. What if my estimate was 3 or 3.5? Is that a good estimate? Yeah. It wasn't exact, but it was super close. What if my estimate was 5 or 4.5? Is that a good estimate? Sure. It's still really close to the exact amount. The only time you're not really trying your best or really using what you already know, what we call an educated guess, is when you say something, for example, this one I say, oh, it's probably about 56 inches. Well, I'm either just being silly, I'm really just pulling that number out of thin air, or maybe I really don't understand it and I need to talk to my teacher or parent. So the estimate, you want it to be as close to the right answer as possible. Now, when we get into bigger numbers, if we were using we were using measuring tape like we did in the classroom when we usually do this, we might do the length of our desk. Now, say you say 20 inches and the length is really 25. Is that still a good estimate? Yeah, I mean, it was pretty close. You still had a few inches to go, but we're talking about a bigger number. So that's going to happen. You're going to have a couple more numbers in between from your estimate to your exact answer. And that's okay. You want to just do your best and really, really think about it before you blurt something out, as sometimes we all do too quickly. So the ruler shows that the ribbon is about 4 inches long, and that's what I guessed, just using my fingers and holding it up to how much an inch is and then going across the ribbon like that. So that was a pretty good estimate. Now, my book has the answer, so I really shouldn't go down. But you want to go ahead and do the rest of that page and the next one. And you had 2 pages before this. I gave you a lot today. We gave you a lot today because there's only like a question or 2 on each page. So we wanted you to have some extra practice with this. Plus, like I said, normally the kids really enjoy doing this. So remember, if you don't have a ruler at home, go ahead and pull that back page out, cut that ruler out, but make sure you use it as a bookmark so that you have it for the rest of the week. Okay? All right. I don't want to go too much more into that. Measurements is one of those things where we really just need to practice it. And again, we would have this all pulled out in the classroom. It makes it a little harder, but just do your best. Okay. I want to go back to our lessons page. So for writing this week, we really just have you studying the spelling words, okay? Just keep studying for that final on Friday. You're going to read your last story in your book. We went ahead and skipped it this year. We never get to this story. And Mrs. Cunningham and I, talked about it. It's such a good story. We didn't want you to miss it. It's called Now and Ben, and you'll see who Ben is and what that's about. So go ahead and listen to it today on Think Central. Have it read to you. Then you have a few pages in Reader's Notebook, and then you're writing those spelling words 2 times each, which is good studying for today. If you want to use that as your studying, that should help a lot. The only thing in the Reader's Notebook is a review on adverbs and adjectives, both things we've had from the beginning of the year. And if you get mixed up on them, remember to go ahead right to the back of your Reader's Notebook, and there is adjective, adverb, okay? All right, so go ahead and just look them up, and you'll be okay. There's only a couple questions on that. And then for religion today, you have a few pages in your Eucharist book, and we want you to send us page 58. You're writing a thank you letter to God for the gifts that he gave you. They should be unique to each of you. And we can't look at each other's answers, so they will be unique. Not that we cheat, but we just like to, what are you writing? I do it too sometimes. So take your time on that, because that is one thing you're going to send to us this week. Parents, if you're listening, besides the religion page today, it's just the spelling final that you will give them on Friday. That's the only other 2 things due this week. And then the other finals will be sent to you on Monday. And then you're done with sending me stuff. Hold on to everything. Use the rest of the pages in all the workbooks for the summer. It's great practice. It's what I do with my kids at home. We bring them to the beach. Maybe right before we're going to the beach, I say, find 2 pages in Reader's Notebook that you didn't do this year. Do 2 pages in Simple Solutions. Gives them something just to get their brains going before the sun turns everything to mush. But all right, so go ahead and get started. You're doing a great job. I really am amazed at everything you've done, everything you've sent me with not being in the classroom with me. It really shows how well you listened all year, because you know exactly what to do. And I'm so proud of you, as I know your parents are too. And I'm proud of you, parents, because this has not been the easiest. I know that. So we're all doing our best, and this is it. So please go ahead and send me that today, and do your best. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good luck.